Thank you so much for inviting me.
No questions. Thank you very much. Probably we will have some more at the end of the session. So now let's move to Martin Zanone. Martin Zanone is the Managing Director from Eurotur. Martin served since 2004 as Managing Director of the company after graduating for his MBA in Babson College. Industrial engineer by choice, started in Eurotur in 1998 after working in a bank, in a retail bank. And while continuing with several own small-sized ventures, he's been raised in a family passionate for the travel and tourism industry. He has traveled extensively and continues to do it and enjoy it. And we know that because I know that you are constantly doing so. Well, Martin has served since 2013 in the Argentine Chamber of Tourism as a very active representative of the members. So Martin is going to share with us some best practices, and there is a nice video, I think, that you are going to play as well. Thank you, Martin. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Maribel, for the intro. Hello, everyone. It is really great to be here, and hopefully you will be interested in the experiences, actions, and thoughts that will be shared. This video was produced to show our clients what Buenos Aires looks like during the longest lockdown on Earth, 5 months and counting. We Argentinians love to be featured in the Guinness World Records book. It was filmed last week as the city is gradually being unlocked, not as vibrant as you have seen it during the summit 2 years ago. All aspects of life must go on, and regardless of a vaccine, we are learning to live with COVID. Eurotur was born in Buenos Aires in 1954 as an outbound tour operator to Europe, specifically for Europeans returning home after World War II. Many milestones, lots of stories, tons of friends. 65 years have molded us into a DMC for Argentina and neighboring countries, in different market segments, from traditional mainstream tourism to the nitty-picky upscale family travel and incentive trips. We live by the belief that if we want to be able to deliver an outstanding service and be able to fulfill unimaginable requests, we need to control whatever happens on the ground, have a superior knowledge of the destinations we work in, and have our local staff and local partners share this same vision. With such a vision, we expanded our own network locations around the country to Calafate, Ushuaia, Salta, Bariloche, and, well, COVID-19 put us on a hold. We count on marketing agents in Spain, Portugal, Germany, German-speaking countries, Italy, France, China, and the US. With great optimism of a bold future, last year we got back into the ground transportation business, buying a small fleet of upscale and normal vans. Eurotur joined WTTC 3 years ago, and is probably one of the smallest members. The weekly task force call has been part of our agenda since the very beginning because we found value in members' experience, shed light on what is happening worldwide, and most importantly, a network of colleagues and friends to tap on. I vividly recall the early February WHO call and discussions during Fitur about the potential impact of COVID-19. We noticed something strange and timely going on in the market, as quite early we started to see last-minute cancellations. After Carnival weekend, it felt like a steep free fall of a roller coaster. We had what was needed for this initial turmoil. We pride ourselves in being always on top of each passenger's trip on site, monitoring the daily developments of their holidays, foreseeing each fact that can affect their climatic situations, strikes, road closures, and planning ahead alternatives to ensure that their experience will be satisfactory and as seamless as possible. We have a strong and experienced team working in perfect sync in all kinds of foreseeable contingencies. Tourists, when traveling Argentina, certainly do not know anyone locally and will be afraid and stressed during such situations. We need to treat them as if we were their local friends, their local family. Be objective to take the best possible decisions for their travels. This focus and timely action have allowed us back in March to be one of the first local tour operators to have all passengers, both FITF and groups, back home before the border closed, while having negotiated with a great level of success cancellation penalties on behalf of our clients. Most expenses were exempted and money refunds made within the first month. We have many stories to remember. Just imagine yourself being a German couple stranded in a small town in Argentinian Puna due to the lockdown, where the nearest airport of Salta is over a 5-hour drive. How will these stories affect our industry? No doubt the word of mouth of such positive memories will strengthen the market positions of travel agents and tour operators. But at the same time, we needed to think on what to do while the lockdown was in effect. Many of these actions were already discussed in other calls. Actually, Kim referred to many of these too. But we can split in 3 groups. Be cash cautious. Cash is needed to survive, even more so when bank financing is very expensive and difficult to come by for us. First action was to collect receivables as fast as possible. We are proud to say that 99% of our clients paid in full, some with understandable difficulties, even those filing for bankruptcy. In early March, we were still in high season, so we set an objective to pay all our suppliers by the end of May, as for sure they would also be in financial stress. The second was to prioritize projects that enhance our service level and those that can help to be ready for new challenges, screening our team for needed capabilities to reduce outsourcing. We increased our commercial activities geared to clients and suppliers, kept on with internal and external trainings, and even now, with some fatigue, we keep being asked for more. We put on hold a big new and lovely back office software system. Eurotur took part in the task force for the WTTC to operate a protocol and was involved in the design and review the protocols for Buenos Aires, CD2. We decided to tighten our own protocol for the short and midterm. Creativity and optimism. We decided early on in the lockdown, I saw firsthand the tough jobs of the local sanitary security personnel. So we came up with a super low price promotion, thought as a way to say thank you. Eurotur was the first to launch such an action locally. We also launched a promotion based on hedging currencies with which the retail price paid by the passenger would be lowered, but not by Eurotur and its agents. Optimism is hard to come by these days. Weeks continue to pass by, received some monthly government help, but lesser fancy decisions were also taken, such as rotative furlough for our staff and an early retirement plan. So how are we keeping up with optimism? That's the question. Back in 2004, I wrote 2 MBA strategy cases for Babson College, published by Harvard Business School, on how a Boston-based operator could thrive in the aftermath of 9/11. The Japanese kanji for crisis is the combination of danger and opportunity. Eurotur, during its 65 years, has lived through many and so different crises that we ended up learning how to respond, and most importantly, to try to make the best out of each one. Such a positive thinking helped us to set priorities and time decisions. We referred back to an early external demand crisis, which was the fall of Lehman Brothers back in October 2008, when our bookings collapsed 30 to 40% in less than a week. We decided to avoid all actions that had no or negative impact. We started by asking our family shareholders 4 questions. Bear in mind, this is a 65-year-old family business. First, we can either shut down activities now with a tough but manageable process where everyone gets paid, or we can go on knowing that most probably the next high season will not happen before September 2021. Next, regardless, is there a shareholder will to continue? And lastly, do we see a future in tourism in Argentina? I could describe the hours of discussions that took place. In family business, emotions, memories, fights all play a part in decision making. But we try to keep it focused and decide based on data to minimize the huge uncertainty we faced. All reports show destinations such as Argentina with open spaces, full of nature and low tourism numbers to be the big winners. Being a DMC seemed key. Reports also show that traditional agents will be revalued given the duty of care proven during the weeks of repatriation. Many stories to piggyback on. We need no report to get more proof of will of travel. Even if immediate travel is domestic within 500 kilometers radius, being a DMC with own operational locations scattered throughout Argentina is a big plus. The local outbound business will be heard as the local economic crisis unveils in Argentina once the lockdown is finished. Some economists refer to Argentina as a country living in continuous crisis. If you read the news these days, Argentina is on a double dip. refinancing its external debt while surfing the COVID-19 crisis. Poverty is expected to duplicate. The Ministry of Tourism, Importur, and Tourism Chambers all work and have worked towards a common objective to help industry survive, despite the still unknown date of borders and airports reopening. WTTC has been key to source data, discussions, and news. And Argentina's incoming destination was never until now truly considered a sole destination in itself, as most tourists combine their trips with Brazil, Chile, Uruguay, Bolivia, Paraguay, and Peru, countries where the COVID-19 epidemic numbers seem to be worse for now. Final decision was made to make Eurotur survive this new crisis, setting up a plan to get us to September 2021 to manage the pitfalls ahead while looking at the glass half full. We are redesigning our business model to focus on what we really are good at, and that is being a DMC. Personally, I firmly believe we cannot bet our lives and future only on a vaccine. We need to learn to live without one. Who knows if another virus will pop up in the future? And all we learned, can we use it again? I could argue about the pros and cons of the earliest and longest lockdown, the life versus economy pseudo dilemma, where we get the feeling that decisions at all levels are based on social mood or fear rather than facts. For Argentina as an incoming touristic destination, it is important to mention some key positive indicators. Very early on the lockdown, social distancing and face masks were already mandatory. The numbers of infected people have stabilized in the city of Buenos Aires and is stagnant in most touristic destinations, with intensive care unit usage never surpassing 70% occupancy rate. Opening is happening, and even more with people in the streets. Indicators in the city of Buenos Aires have not risen. A special thanks to our health agents and security personnel who have been working tirelessly during such a long days. As a family-owned business, we value our staff, our clients, our partners. We're passionate about travel and have all had once-in-lifetime travel experiences. And we need to be back at 30,000 feet to have our fair share of cosmic radiation. On behalf of Eurotur and personally, I cannot be more thankful to all members to whom we have reached out for help and advice. Thank you very much for your time and for allowing me to be here today.
Thank you, Martin, and thank you very much for sharing with us your experience, of course, but the beautiful image from Buenos Aires. We are all, I'm thinking now that probably all of us, we are very happy that you have done that, and we want to go there as soon as possible. Beautiful memories since our summit there. So thank you very much. I have a couple of questions, then I will go to the audience. But what do you see? How do you foresee the corridors working together in the region, Chile, Argentina, Brazil? How do you see that option happening when it comes to the regional part of LATAM?
I think initially most of the tourism will be definitely within the regional areas, and mainly the two or three biggest markets for Argentina are Brazil, Chile, and Uruguay, being Uruguay a pseudo-touristic source market. Looking at numbers of where market demand is right now, there's a lot of Brazilians willing to travel to Argentina, and apparently it seems to be, how could I say it? They don't really care about what's happening with the crisis right now. In terms of international travel, I think there will still be more combinations between countries, and most of the time we sell 2 or 3 country combinations, whether it's Brazil plus Argentina or just Argentina, Buenos Aires, Argentina and Chile and Patagonia, or just other combinations with the northern part of Argentina, Chile, and Bolivia. So we think that will continue, that's for sure. But we're seeing more and more just standalone requests for Argentina. When I say request, it's not necessarily firm bookings, but just more quotes and more people thinking about how to package this. Regarding LATAM, the airline, I'm not sure what will happen with that. There's a lot of politics behind that, and really, I don't have any data or really facts to share with that.
There is another question here from Camille from the Livron, from Abercrombie and Kent. She said that she's asking about how do you see the cruise session this year from Antarctica and Ushuaia? Is there anything that you can do together, operators and cruise lines, to facilitate that?
That's a great question, actually, and that's been on our desk for really early on. We are not a specialist in cruises, but being in Ushuaia also as a local operator over there, most of our competitors have cruises as their main business. The first thing we saw was that some of the cruise lines were switching Ushuaia to Montevideo, mainly because there was a lot of uncertainty whether Argentina was going to open and when they would open. And on the second side, for what I understand, there was a cost issue also related to it. We don't see the cruise business coming back to Argentina, not to Antarctica, not to Buenos Aires either. There's been a lot of talks about that, but I'm really hesitant if there is anything we can do. It's definitely one of those businesses that have a bigger impact on the news in terms of, it's easier to say 10 cruises coming to Buenos Aires or to Ushuaia and there's 5,000 people. So the numbers are easy to see. And I think that will be helpful, but I don't see it coming soon. From Ushuaia and from Buenos Aires, there's a lot of lobby being done regardless to that, but it wouldn't be me really the one who can touch more on this. I can definitely talk to some of our colleagues and get back to Camille about that.
Okay, good. And through the Chamber of Tourism, probably you can give her some. We as well, Camille, if you are happy, I can connect you with them. So, thank you very much, Martin, and of course, Kim. Gloria has just joined us after the presentation and the interview with the BBC.